Hello history fans and happy Halloween if you are celebrating. This is the final episode of Halloweek, so I hope you've enjoyed, and we're going to finish with a get ready with me because tonight I want to dress up as Medusa. So we're going to get ready and we're going to talk about her story and her mythology. Let me know in the comments who you're dressing up as and I hope you enjoy. In Greek mythology, there are three Gorgon daughters of Phorus and Ceto, and Medusa is probably the most famous. These Gorgon monsters are often described as female creatures, and Medusa is the one with a set of hair made of snakes. She was the exception of her family, as she's the only mortal one, and sometimes, most of the time, the only beautiful one. Because she is the only mortal Gorgon, she is killed by Perseus when he beheads her. And apparently, when he beheads her, the blood that springs from her neck springs her sons by Poseidon, whose names are Pegasus and Chrysaor. Her severed head then turns those who look at it to stone. And sometimes it's said it was given to Athena, who put it into her shield. Others say that Perseus buries it in the market at Argos. Some say that Athena gave a lock of her snake hair to Heracles or Hercules, and he in turn gives it to Stereope, who uses it to protect the town of Tegea from attack, because the hair still holds the turning to stone power. Now, as we said, she was the exception of her family as the only beautiful Gorgon until she endures the wrath of Athena, and that's when she then gets the head of hair of snakes. Some versions of the myth say that this wrath of Athena occurs because of Medusa's boastfulness, but most of the time it's because of an ill-fated love affair with Poseidon. In Roman mythology, the story becomes widespread in the 1st century when the Roman poet Ovid talks about her. And he describes a beautiful maiden seduced by Neptune, or Poseidon, in a temple of Minerva, or Athena. And this sacrilege is what attracts Athena, and this is why she is then punished with a head of hair of snakes. According to Hesiod and Aeschylus, she lives and dies on Sarpedon. But Herodotus, depending on how you want to pronounce it or which lecturer of mine you were, according to Herodotus, he says that the Berbers originated her myth as part of their religion. I'm going to try and use the green highlight from this highlighter. Oh, focus. We're going to try and use the green one because obviously Medusa is green, as we all know, because monsters are always green. As we know from ancient Greek art like vase paintings or relief carvings, Medusa and her sisters are always displayed in this huge monstrous form. But in the 5th century we see artists showing her as both beautiful and terrifying. This is a pen. I don't need a pen. I need my eyebrow pen. And an ode from 490 by Pindar speaks of fair-cheeked Medusa. So constantly we have these different interpretations of her right from the very beginning. I'm interested to see everyone's costumes this year though, because so far on TikTok I've seen a lot of Pam and Tommy, like Pat Moranis Anderson, and also the two guys from Home Alone. They've been quite funny. And Minions as well, like Gru and the Minions. They've been popular again. Who's been coming up on your TikTok? Oh, I'm going to expose my background now. Oh, you can see my notes. Let's move them. It's a lot of pressure. I might have to do the other one not on camera. Oh no, that's okay. Now we have the fun eyeshadow part. Actually, my makeup brush holder is a cauldron. I forgot about that. I think I was supposed to change it for like the rest of the year, but I just never did, so I've just had a cauldron all year, so that's fun. So we're going to do green and gold, you will see why at the end. Woohoo! I'm going to use this palette and this palette because this one has all the colours you could ever need. I always wanted that, was it James Charles, the Morphe one? But I could never be bothered to spend that much money, so I got this one instead. And my Harry Potter brushes, of course. Early classic scholars interpret her myth as quasi-history, which basically means it's based on like a reconstruction of an event, or like a custom of the past. So it wasn't necessarily real, but it's to like teach us a lesson. So what do you think the lesson might be to learn from Medusa? Because depending on the version of the myth you listen to anyway, they're very different morals of the story. As Beth Selig speaks about, actually, because she's one of the, I think it's the psychoanalysts, or like a literary commentary, that says it interprets her punishment as resulting from rape rather than her willingness and consent in the temple, and also as an outcome of Athena's unresolved conflicts with Zeus. So like depending on which version of the myth you go with, whether it was consensual or not, then has a very different moral of the story. We also have Sigmund Freud's book Medusa's Head, which was published in 1940 posthumously, if that interests you. But he basically says that to decapitate is to castrate, so he says that the terror that comes with Medusa is actually just a terror of castration. So, you know, he makes a story of feminine rage into male castration. But yeah, so apparently we fear Medusa because we fear castration, according to Sigmund Freud. Oh, it looks like yellow. Oh well, that's fine. And now we have modern feminists. Who would be a modern feminist, eh? But commonly, when we talk about Medusa and feminism, we use Medusa as showing malevolence. And despite her original beauty in most versions of the myth, she is always described as, or her image is always used as monster. And whenever we talk about female rage, a lot of the time women say, oh, Medusa, which is evidenced in a book called Female Rage, which I can't remember the author, but they basically did like, I suppose, a survey, and they asked women, what's the story you think of when you think of feminine rage or female rage? And most people said Medusa. When really, I suppose, would that come from Athena? Because she's the one who gave Medusa the curse. I don't know. A lot of the time in pop culture as well, she's just become fury personified, which again, I think maybe that should be Athena rather than Medusa. But it all depends what version of the myth, obviously. Apparently in the 2016 elections, she was compared a lot to Hillary Clinton, and the hashtag #MeToo movement used her to show victim blaming as well. So she is constantly being brought up throughout time and in modern day as well. And it's interesting to see how her story sort of changes to fit people's agendas, I suppose. You could say that about any history story though, or mythology. I'm very sorry that this video has been very rambly rather than factual, I suppose, but I have just seen on, I'm using this by the way, I used this in a TikTok the other day and people asked me what it was. I saw on Instagram though that Jean Menzies is about to upload a video on Medusa. By now she will have posted it, so if you want a lot more detail and information on her, I would go and watch that, because this is just a little bit of a silly video because I wanted to do my makeup for Halloween and show you my costume. There we go. Oh, that's not good with the teeth, is it? Okay, I'll be back in a second. And there we are Medusa. Can you see? Yeah, you can. Maybe a little bit over the top with all the sparkles, but I think she'd enjoy it. And I think that colours go with, yeah, I've got Medusa's layer there and it's all green and blue, and I think it goes. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And I'll see you, it's usually on Thursday, but I did just do 5 in a row, so I don't know. It'll be Thursday, I'm sure. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye! I thought I'd show you my little pumpkin Halloween chocolate.